if I told you that the majority of people today are quietly living in defeat, not due to a lack of talent, but because of a lack of mental resilience? We scroll endlessly, we compare ourselves, we envy others, and then wonder why we feel stuck, drained, or lost. We chase after comfort and still end up exhausted. We avoid discomfort, yet suffer on a daily basis. Here's the tough truth. Comfort is slowly killing us, while struggle, though painful, carries within it the seed of true power. But here's the twist. The ancient Stoics knew this long before smartphones, social media, or modern self-help existed. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the greatest Stoic minds, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's not just a quote, it's a weapon, it's a way of thinking, a method for standing firm in chaos. Stoicism doesn't make life easier, it makes you unstoppable. In this video, we're going deep into 8 brutal Stoic laws, principles that will force you to grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. This isn't feel-good fluff, it's raw truth that's been tested on ancient battlefields and remains razor-sharp today. Before we begin, I need one thing from you. If you're truly committed to growth, don't just sit there watching this like any other motivational clip. This isn't background noise, it's your wake-up call. Hit that like button now, comment as we move through these points, especially if something hits hard. Share this with someone who needs it. And most importantly, don't skip anything. Even missing one law could cost you clarity or courage when it matters most. Let's begin. Number 1, embrace discomfort like it's your ally. We've been conditioned to flee from pain, but the Stoics taught the opposite. Run toward it with your eyes wide open. Think about the biggest growth moment in your life. Did it happen when things were easy, relaxed, and convenient? Or did it arrive after life knocked you down and left you to decide, rise or remain broken? Marcus Aurelius dealt with wars, betrayal, illness, and yet led with composure. He didn't shy away from discomfort, he welcomed it as a sculptor of character. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That's not just poetic, it's law. Every obstacle becomes a chance to sharpen your will. Every delay tests your patience. Every rejection teaches resilience. Modern life tells us, avoid pain. Stoicism whispers back, train for it. That cold shower, that hard conversation, that workout when you're exhausted, that's where your character is being carved. The Stoics believed that choosing discomfort builds readiness. When the storm arrives, you're already built for it. Seneca, another Stoic, deliberately slept on the floor, ate basic food, wore rough clothing, not from self-loathing, but from self-training. Why? Because when life strips away comfort, you're not shaken, you're prepared. Discomfort isn't your enemy, it's your mirror. It reflects who you are and who you're becoming. We dodge small discomfort today only to face greater pain tomorrow. But if you lean in, walk through it with awareness, something wild happens. You stop fearing it. And that is the beginning of freedom. From this moment, treat discomfort like a sparring partner. It might bruise you, but it's building you. Choose one small discomfort today and face it. No excuses. Cold shower, tough conversation, sit in stillness. This is how warriors are forged. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Discomfort is my training ground. Number 2, stop letting your emotions control you. How often do your emotions dictate your day? Someone insults you, you snap. Plans change, your whole mood drops. You feel lazy, so you skip the gym, the work, the growth. It's not just you, it's all of us. But here's the brutal truth. If your emotions rule you, you're enslaved by them. The Stoics believed that emotional slavery is worse than physical chains. Epictetus, a former slave turned Stoic master, said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. They can do so only with your permission." Let that sink in. That person who cut you off, you handed them your peace. That breakup, you handed it your identity. That rude comment, you gave it your joy. Stoicism doesn't teach emotional denial, it teaches emotional discipline. Observe, understand, respond, don't react. That's the difference between a child and a Stoic. The child throws tantrums. The Stoic sits in the storm and reflects. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man of his time, wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That's the kind of control we don't talk about enough. the power to remain unshaken by things unworthy of your energy. And yes, it's a hard truth, because it means you can't blame anyone else anymore. You can't say he made me mad or she ruined my day. The reaction was always your choice. But that's also where the power lies. You can choose again. You don't have to obey every emotion. You can feel anger and still respond calmly. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel sadness and not be destroyed by it. That's emotional power. That's Stoic freedom. Try this. The next time you feel triggered, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, is this emotion useful right now? Respond with intention. This isn't robotic, it's controlled. When you're no longer owned by emotion, you become calm, steady, powerful. You become the kind of person people trust. While others are reactive, you're grounded. In today's emotional chaos, that kind of presence is rare, and it's unstoppable. Real growth begins when you stop being a puppet and become the master. Number 3, stop expecting fairness. Life owes you nothing. One of the quickest ways to create suffering is to hold on to the idea that life should be fair. Sit with that for a moment. You put in the work, yet someone lazier gets the recognition. You give love deeply, and they still walk away. You make the right choices and still end up getting hurt. That voice inside rises. This isn't fair. But here's what the Stoics knew. Fairness isn't a rule of the universe. It's a story we tell ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You can commit injustice by doing nothing." Even as emperor, he saw injustice daily, but instead of spiraling into complaints or self-pity, he anchored himself in one powerful truth. Life isn't about fairness. It's about inner strength. The Stoics never expected life to go easy on them. They expected pain, betrayal, loss, and chaos. And because they expected it, they were ready. So let's be brutally honest. The idea of fairness sounds noble, but when clung to too tightly, it makes you fragile. Often when we say, "This isn't fair," what we really mean is, "I don't like how this feels, and I don't want to deal with it." But here's the Stoic law. You don't grow by demanding fairness. You grow by facing reality and moving forward anyway. Look around. Bad things happen to good people. Sometimes those with the worst intentions succeed. Hard work doesn't always bring reward. That's not negativity, it's life. What separates the average from the unstoppable is simple. The average waits for justice. The Stoic? They build strength so real, no external circumstance can shatter it. That doesn't make you cold, it makes you capable. You stop expecting the world to treat you right and start committing to treat yourself right, no matter how the world behaves. Seneca once wrote, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage, especially when life feels unfair." So here's the move. Don't complain. Use the pain. Use it to build. Use it to sharpen. Use it to grow. Love deeply, even without a guarantee. Face betrayal and walk with dignity. The Stoic embraces radical responsibility. Not because everything is your fault, but because your next move is always your choice. You don't get to decide how life strikes, but you always choose how to respond. And that calm, grounded, unshakable response is what makes you powerful. Fairness isn't promised, but freedom, that's earned, one resilient decision at a time. Number 4, focus only on what you can control. Let go of everything else. The Stoics taught that real power lives in one place, inside what's within your control. Everything else, let it go. Epictetus put it clearly, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Most people get trapped because they try to control everything, their friends, their future, even the opinions of strangers. And then they wonder why they feel anxious, angry, and exhausted. Let's get specific. What's truly in your control? Your thoughts, your decisions, your actions, your responses. That's it. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you prepare. You can't control whether people like you, but you can control how you show up. You can't control what the world does, but you can control how you react. That single shift in focus, it changes everything. Instead of being pulled in 100 directions by things you can't influence, you return to your center, anchored in your own choices. Picture being in a storm at sea. The Stoic doesn't curse the wind. He grips the wheel and steers the ship. That's what makes him steady when others panic, focused when others flail. This mindset isn't about pretending nothing matters. It's about refusing to waste your energy on what you can't change. Most of what people stress about, it's outside their hands. Here's a practice. Anytime you feel pressure, ask, is this within my control? If yes, act. If no, release. Simple? Yes. Easy? Not always. But powerful? Absolutely. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. And when you live this truth, people notice. You become unshakable. Not because you've mastered the world, but because you've mastered yourself. Number 5, choose voluntary hardship. It builds unbreakable will. In a world addicted to ease, discipline has become a rare superpower. The Stoics didn't wait around for life to challenge them. They challenged themselves first. Not to suffer, but to strengthen. Not as punishment, but preparation. Seneca once advised, set aside a number of days where you're content with the scantiest food, rough clothing, and the question, is this the condition I feared? That was voluntary hardship, a chosen discomfort to train the mind before chaos arrived. Most people today avoid discomfort like the plague. They never skip a meal, never sit in silence, never go without comfort. But what happens when life gets hard? They crack, they panic, they blame. The Stoic has already trained, they've fasted, they've endured silence, boredom, fatigue. Not to look strong, but to be ready. That's what makes them adaptable. Willpower isn't built by inspiration. It's forged in repetition. You build it by choosing the uncomfortable path on purpose. Voluntary hardship could mean fasting for 24 hours, not to lose weight, but to master your impulses. It could mean cold showers, not because you like it, but because your comfort shouldn't dictate your strength. It might be saying no to things you can afford, just to sharpen your restraint. It could mean rising early to train while your body begs for sleep. These little choices, they stack. And over time, they turn you into someone who can't be broken easily. Comfort will never make you stronger. Challenge will. And when real hardship comes, as it always does, you won't flinch. You've already chosen the fire. Marcus Aurelius led during plagues, wars, betrayals, and yet he wrote with clarity. Why? Because he didn't fear hardship, he expected it. And when it's expected, it can't paralyze you. So don't ask, how can I make life easier? Ask, how can I become stronger? Practice hunger. Practice rejection. Practice being tired, bored, uncertain, and still focused. Because the day life hits you harder than expected, you'll be the one who rises. Number 6, detach from outcomes. Fall in love with the process. We've been conditioned to obsess over results. Get the job, win the title, hit the goal, earn the money, gain admiration. But Stoicism turns that obsession on its head. Detach from what you can't control. Master what you can, the process. Why? Because the outcome is never promised, but your effort always is. Epictetus put it plainly. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life, and it's achieved by letting go of everything outside your control. When you're glued to results, you're setting yourself up for pain. You hit the gym for a week, no abs, you quit. Launch a project, it flops, you feel like a failure. Love someone, they leave, you collapse. But what if instead, you fell in love with the work itself? The building, the writing, the thinking, the training, the showing up? That's the Stoic way. Because when the process is the goal, you always win, regardless of how the results turn out. Here's the irony. When you stop being desperate for results, they start to come. You're less needy, less reactive. You're no longer chasing validation, you're grounded in action. Marcus Aurelius said, never let the future disturb you. You'll meet it, if you must, with the same tools of reason you use now to handle the present. In other words, stop trying to control what hasn't happened. Work your process, right here, right now. If you're a writer, write not for likes, but to sharpen your mind. If you're training, do it not just to win, but to master your body. If you're building something, build it not for applause, but for pride in the craft. Because the second your worth depends on outcomes, you become fragile. But when your worth comes from discipline, presence, and purpose, you become unstoppable. Here's your Stoic shift. Show up like the outcome's already done, and now you're just enjoying the journey. Whether you win or fail, doesn't matter. You've already won because you showed up fully. Number 7, embrace death. Live with urgency and intention. Most people live as if they've got forever. They put off dreams, stay stuck in bad routines and worse relationships, scrolling endlessly, numbing out, killing time. But the Stoics, they meditated on death, not to be grim, but to wake up. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you say, think, and do. That's not fear, that's clarity. When you accept how short life is, you stop wasting it. Let that really land. You don't get to assume tomorrow. You don't get to keep saying someday. You don't get unlimited chances. The Stoics practiced memento mori. Remember, you must die. Not to depress themselves, but to stay focused. Because once you realize your time is limited, you start living on purpose. You stop the endless scrolling. You stop the useless arguments. You stop entertaining mediocrity. You start creating, loving, building. Now, not later. Seneca once said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." You might not control how long you live, but you absolutely control how deeply. And the most dangerous lie we tell ourselves is this: I have time. No, you don't. That risk you keep avoiding, that business idea you're delaying, that person you still haven't forgiven, that new path you keep saying you'll take next year, this moment, it's your shot. The Stoic doesn't run from death. They stare it down and say, "You will not find me asleep in my own life." And that awareness, it doesn't bring fear. It brings intensity. Because the person who remembers death speaks the truth, loves without hesitation, works with urgency, lets go of ego, and stops fearing failure. The real failure isn't falling short, it's wasting the one life you've been given. Live like you're on borrowed time, because you are. And when you do, people feel it. You feel it. Number 8. Be a warrior for virtue, not for approval. Let's be honest. Most people move through life chasing likes, applause, compliments, validation. But the Stoic doesn't live for the crowd. The Stoic lives for virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter." Meaning, live with integrity even when no one sees it. Speak the truth, even if no one claps. Keep your word, even if it costs you. Train hard, even when no one's watching. That's virtue. That's the inner foundation no one can buy or break. It's not about perfection. It's about principles. And here's the difficult part. Doing the right thing is almost always the hard thing. It's easier to lie, easier to impress, easier to fake it than to be real, easier to blend in than to stand alone. But every time you choose virtue over comfort, you sharpen your edge. You become someone your future self will be proud of. You create an identity that no storm, failure, or loss can shake. Seneca once said, "I will govern my life and thoughts as if the whole world could see the one and read the other." That's power. That's a soul that stands unshaken because it's built on something deeper than image. In a world of filters, the Stoic is authentic. In a world of noise, the Stoic is still. In a world of performance, the Stoic is real. If you want to become truly unstoppable, stop living for applause. Start living for your values. Live in such a way that if all your status, followers, or money disappeared, you'd still walk with your head high. Because once you stop needing approval, you become the kind of person others quietly admire. Be the warrior who walks the hard path, not because it's easy, but because it's the right one. Even if no one follows, walk like it's the only path that matters. And if you've made it this far, it means something inside you is ready. Ready to rise. Ready to leave behind distraction, weakness, and emotional chaos. Ready to step into something higher. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being powerful. Not power over others, but power over yourself. That's the Stoic way. It won't offer comfort, but it gives you clarity. It gives you direction. It gives you meaning in a chaotic world. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. They didn't write their wisdom in peaceful times. They wrote it in wars, plagues, betrayals, and loss. Not for motivation, but for survival. Because true strength isn't in muscles or money. It's in the man who honors his word. The woman who faces fear without flinching. The soul who does what's right, especially when it's hard. You don't need the perfect moment to start. You don't need more motivation. You just need to begin, now. Train your mind. Expect challenge. Let go of outcomes. Stand on your values. Live like your time is running out, because it is. And the best part? You don't need applause. You don't need praise. You don't need anyone to understand you. Because when you walk the Stoic path, you become unshakable from the inside out. And that kind of strength, it's rare, it's real, and it's yours. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am becoming unshakable day by day. If this hit you, if something in you lit up, don't keep it to yourself. Share this with someone who's on their journey. Subscribe. We're building a tribe of thinkers, warriors, and real ones. People who want more than noise. People who want to live on purpose. And remember, Don't skip any part of your life. Every moment is training. Every struggle is transformation. Keep showing up. Keep choosing strength. And don't stop until you become unstoppable. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.